Welcome to the Sleepy Story, a quiet refuge where tales spark your drive. Let go, rest, and drift into courage. I'm your guide, sharing stories of motivation. Subscribe or share if you like, and let's begin. Picture a mountain cabin, the air crisp with pine, a small pen in your hands, warm and faintly glowing. Its soft hum stirs a question. Can one word ignite a journey to greatness? This is Elara Quill's journey in The Writer's Pen, inspired by the quote, "You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great." Zig Ziglar. At 33, a writer in Starfall, Colorado, she drafts stories amid fear of failure after a rejected manuscript. An ancient pen glowing in her attic, and a journal of meditations promise motivation through writing. Starfall's snowy peaks hold secrets, but her past pulls toward Denver's clamor. Why does this pen call her? How can it fuel her purpose? With a writer's heart, Elara pens stories of courage, purpose, and renewal. Breathe, soften, and step into her world. This is The Writer's Pen, and it begins now. Elara Quill scratched a sentence onto a notebook, the soft scrape of her pen filling her Starfall cabin. Early November, twilight filtered through the frost-laced windows, casting a silver glow on shelves of dog-eared books and half-filled journals stacked like dreams. At 33, she'd written stories read across Colorado's indie scene, each word a pulse of her soul. But today, her hand froze, a familiar fear of failure tightening her chest, like a page crumpled in frustration. Her cabin, a pinewood retreat by the creek winding through the Rockies, smelled of ink and cedar. Its walls hung with sketches of story outlines. A rejection letter from a Denver publisher, dated a year ago, lay pinned under a coffee mug on her desk. A manuscript deemed not ready that still haunted her. The failure was a block she couldn't write past. Just keep writing. Her mentor, Theo, had told her before retiring to Boulder, but Elara's confidence felt blank. While searching for a fresh notebook in the attic, a creaky hatch groaned. The attic was a cluttered archive of old drafts, dried-out pens and crumpled rejection slips. And in a corner, under a quilt, sat a wooden box carved with mountain ridges. Inside was a fountain pen, its barrel etched with tiny stars, glowing faintly, like moonlight on snow. A leather-bound journal rested beside it, inked in a steady hand. The Writer's Pen, Starfall, 1879. Write dreams to ignite the heart. Elara's breath caught, the attic's air cool with a hint of sage. She opened the journal, its words a quiet flow. The pen channeled fear into motivation, its meditations guiding the writer to purpose through starting, however imperfectly. An entry read, "Elara seeks the pen. The stars will show her." Her name, written in 1879, was impossible. She was born in 1992, but the words echoed Zig Ziglar's wisdom. stirring her like a breeze through the pines. She brought the pen and journal to her desk, setting them beside her laptop. The journal's instructions were clear. Sleep with the pen near. Feel its words. Then write. That night, Elara tucked it under her pillow, its warmth steadying her. Her dreams were vivid. A snowy peak, a creek, a man with Theo's eyes, whispering, "Start with one word." She woke, the pen glowing, her fingers itching to scribble. In her cabin, Elara wrote a short story with the ancient pen, its light guiding her hand. She penned a tale of Theo's encouragement, their late-night plot debates, her fear of failure softening, his voice echoing in the lines. The story wasn't perfect, but starting it felt like a spark. The journal's next entry warned, "The pen demands truth. Stall it, and fear grows." Elara clutched Theo's old fountain pen, a gift now resting on her desk, her heart stirring, ready to write again. Starfall woke under a snowy dawn, the creek's murmur blending with the crunch of fresh powder. Elara typed market articles, but her eyes drifted to the ancient pen, its etched stars catching the cabin's light. The story draft sat on her desk, its words glowing faintly, shifting. Mountains one moment, a face the next. She blinked, blaming. Long nights, but the journal's words echoed, "Write dreams to ignite the heart." At the town coffee shop, her friend Lila, a barista with a bright smile, poured her latte. "You're distracted," she said, sliding a scone across the counter. "New story." Elara showed the draft, its glow steady now. Lila's eyes widened. "That's alive! Where'd it come from?" Elara shared the pen's story, its meditations of motivation through starting. Lila, who knew Starfall's lore, leaned in. Old miners talked of glowing pens, sparking courage. "Be careful, Elara." That evening, Elara wrote a new chapter, the pen warm, its ink guiding her words. Her dream was sharp. A ridge, Theo's advice, a page reborn. The man appeared, his voice clear. "Write what you fear." Elara woke, heart racing, the pen glowing. In the cabin, she drafted a sage-hued novel scene, weaving cedar-like metaphors, her fear of rejection rising, then easing, like words finding their flow. Starting, even messily, fueled her drive. She visited Lila's coffee shop, needing her friend's grounding presence. The air smelled of espresso, the counter lined with pastries. "I wrote for Theo," Elara said, voice low. Lila nodded, her eyes kind. "That's brave, Elara. That pen's pushing you to start again." Elara touched Theo's fountain pen, tucked in her pocket, and felt a shift, like a story finding its opening line. Elara wrote daily, each draft tied to a dream. Creeks, stars, Theo's laugh. The pen's glow spread, lighting her cabin. drawing. Curious neighbors. The journal urged, share the words, or they fade. Elara hesitated, Starfall's quiet eyes on her. But Lila's words steadied. You're not alone here. At the weekend market, Elara shared a gold-toned short story with a customer, Finn, a teacher with weary eyes. That's my daughter's voice, he whispered, tears falling, his daughter lost to illness. Elara's heart ached, the pen's magic reaching beyond her. The journal's next entry read, The pen binds hearts. Right for the town. Elara knew she had to share, but how? Starting small, she posted a story snippet online. Her fear of criticism tempered by the pen's lesson. Just begin. Her cabin became a hub. The ancient pen's drafts fueling her manuscripts. The journal grew heavier, its entries guiding. Words are dreams, writing writer to world. She wrote a red-hued novella after dreaming of a fiery sunset, a kid's cheer, her own heart bolder. The novella inspired her neighbors, their praise louder, and Elara felt the pen's power, tying her to Starfall. Starting each draft, no matter how rough, built her confidence. She invited Lila to her cabin, showing the red novella. It's Tatichu like dawn on the peaks, Lila said, eyes bright. How'd you do it? Elara explained the pen, the journal, the dreams, and the courage to start. Lila, practical but moved, hugged her. This is bigger than you, Elara. Let it out. Elara shared stories at the market, each tied to a dream. A blue creekside poem from a dream of a calm tide reached a young artist, Amos, who said, It's my sketches, flowing free. A silver mountain tale from a dream of a moonlit ridge found Finn, who whispered, It's my daughter at peace. Each story wove a thread, Starfall's quiet struggles and hopes laid bare. By sharing her imperfect drafts, Elara inspired others to start their own creative pursuits. Some stories were heavy. A gray memoir draft, after a dream of a storm. Theo's voice fading brought tears. The journal warned, all words must be written, even fear. Elara wrote it, hands shaking, and hid it, dreading its rawness. Lila noticed, dropping off a latte at her cabin. You're carrying too much, she said. Let us read with you. Elara realized starting meant facing her fears head-on, so she began revising the memoir, one page at a time. Elara taught a neighbor's bonfifidus, teen Clara, to write a simple poem, the ancient pen's light guiding. Clara's grin bloomed. It's like magic, Miss Elara. Elara's heart lifted, the pen's glow spreading. The journal's next entry read, The pen heals through community. Call them to you. Elara planned a town writing circle. Nervous, but driven, the pen's lesson, just start, stronger than her doubts. The writing circle was held in Starfall's snowy meadow, lanterns flickering, the creek's murmur mingling with the crunch of snow. Neighbors brought candles, their flames a warm prelude, the ancient pen at Elara's side. Leela brought coffee, Finn his books, Amos his sketches, and 70 townsfolk gathered, drawn by the story's whispers. Elara stood, heart racing, journal open. "Thanks for coming," she said, voice soft, like the pen's glow. "This pen writes dreams, words of our hearts. It's lifted me, and I hope it lifts you." She shared the Blue Creekside poem, its title rhythm steady. Finn smiled, tears falling. "That's my daughter," he said, voice breaking. Starting to share her work publicly gave Elara a new sense of purpose. Amos shared the Silver Mountain Tale, its moonlight prose glowing. The crowd hushed. Lila told a story, the red novella her backdrop. It's the mountains, our home. Each story wove a thread, Starfall's heart open. Elara hesitated over the gray memoir draft, its storm heavy, but the journal urged, all words heal. She read a page, words raw, Theo's loss in each line, and the town breathed with her, their silence a shared embrace. Starting to voice her grief was a step toward healing. Clara held her poem, its glow bright, the pen's magic in her grin. The journal's next entry read, "The pen heals through truth. Face the shadow to find the light." Elara understood. Her fear, Theo's absence, was a word to release, not clutch. Starting to write through her pain was the path to greatness. The writing circle ended with coffee shared, Lila's arm around her. Elara penned a final story, stars overhead, her heart light. The pen's magic was Starfall's, a word born of dreams. Each small start, every word she wrote, built her toward something greater. Elara's stories grew bolder, the pen's call relentless. A black novel draft, dreamed in a dark peak, Theo's voice faint, brought a heavy word. The journal urged, write the shadow, or it binds you. She wrote, prose stark, fear rising, then easing, like a storm passing. The draft freed her, Theo's laugh a soft echo. Starting the novel, despite its weight, was a triumph. She called Theo in bolder, needing closure. His voice was warm, heavy with shared loss. I'm scared to fail again, Elara said, the pen nearby. Theo sighed. Just start, Elara. That's enough. They breathed together, phone silent, a shared word. The gray memoir shimmered, its storm clearing. Starting to reconnect with Theo was a step forward. Lila helped Elara set up a market stall for the pen's stories, each tagged with a dream's story. Locals bought them, tourists too, their eyes bright. Finn used the Silver Mountain Tale in his classroom, Amos sketched by the Blue Creekside poem. Starfall buzzed. the pen's magic. A quiet legend. Elara's willingness to start sharing her work inspired the town. Elara wrote daily, her neighbors' praise louder. Clara leading with her poems. She crafted stories for the town, words of creeks and stars, her fear softer. The journal's next entry read, "The pen writes beyond the writer. Let it go." Elara frowned, the idea aching. But the pen's magic belonged to Starfall now. Starting to let go was part of her growth. Her cabin was a gallery, drafts on shelves, pens stacked, the ancient pen quiet but alive. She wrote a white short story, dreaming of a meadow, a pen under stars, her voice saying, "Let it go." The glow was radiant, a word of freedom, and Elara knew the journal was right. The pen's work was done. Starting to release the pen was a step toward her own greatness. She planned a final writing circle on Starfall's creek bank, lanterns aglow, the pen at its heart. The town came. Finn, Amos, Lila, Clara, dozens more, their stories shared. "This pen wove our dreams," Elara said, voice steady. "Now it's time to let it rest." Amos sketched, Clara read poems, Lila poured coffee, the group breathing as one. Elara wrote the white short story, each writer adding a line, their words a tapestry. The journal's last entry read, "The pen lives in the writer's heart. Release it, and you are free." Starting to share the pen's magic completed her journey. Elara carried the pen to the creek, setting it on a raft with the journal. She lit a candle, pushing it into the current, the town watching as it drifted, glowing under stars. The pen was gone, but its magic lived. In stories, smiles, Starfall's heart, Elara's craft thrived, her stories bolder, freer. She wrote a novel for Theo, its prose his laugh, Leela clapping. "You're back, Elara," she said, her grin her home. Theo's fountain pen gleamed, his gift, her peace. Starting that novel was her greatest achievement yet. Years later, Elara's cabin was a hub, neighbors writing stories of their own. Starfall flourished, its market alive with word-inspired crafts. The town a symphony of connection. Elara taught, writing, sharing the pen's lessons without its magic. Her voice, a gentle guide. Starting to teach was a new beginning. Finn's teaching grew. Theo's memory in every lesson. Amos's sketches toured, carrying Starfall's spirit. Lila's coffee shop buzzed, her evenings with Elara, their bond deep. Elara wrote for them, her stories a mirror of dreams. She visited Denver, writing with Theo's old group. Their fear, softer, their words shared. "You're whole," Theo said over coffee, eyes bright. Elara nodded, the pen's lessons her roots. She meditated daily, breathing with Theo's fountain pen, her stories vivid but free. Starting to reconnect with, her past fueled her future. A package arrived, an ink vial, silver like a star, with a note. The pen writes in you. Elara smiled, using it for a new story. Its prose, a meadow under stars. She placed it on her desk, a reminder. Her words were her truth, her life, her craft. Starting each day with a single word was her path to greatness. Elara's life was a woven word, grit, community, dreams. She led writing retreats in Starfall, teaching breath, presence, storytelling, the creek's murmur, her guide. Her stories inspired homes, her teaching softer, each lesson a spark. Theo's fountain pen rested on her desk, a tether to her past, her peace. Theo visited, their writing a ritual, the fountain pen a bridge. "You gave me courage," he said, eyes bright. Elara smiled, knowing they'd given it to each other. Lila's love grew, their hikes a duet, her hand in hers. One evening, Elara meditated by the creek, Theo's fountain pen in her hand, her breath a tide. The ancient pen was gone, but its magic lived. In her stories, her town, her heart, she wrote a story under stars. Its light, her truth. Her life, a word penned true. Starfall's snowy peaks held her, their secrets hers. Elara breathed, present, whole, and the stars glowed back. You are the word. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Zig Ziglar teaches us that greatness is not a prerequisite, but a result of taking action. Elara's journey shows that starting, writing one imperfect word, sharing a raw draft, or facing fear, builds the path to confidence and purpose. The lesson is clear. Don't wait for perfection. Begin where you are, with one small step, and greatness will grow through persistence.